Welcome to Apex Esports League. I'm JT, and tonight we're on Project Cars 2 for PlayStation, and it is round 2 of the Pagnian Imports RS01 trophy. Tonight's track, we are heading to Belgium for Zolder. The session, we're going to be having 2 races. We're going to head in the first session. Practice is 15 minutes. Weather is medium cloud. Then we're qualifying is 15 minutes. Weather is also medium cloud. And the sprint race, 11 laps. Weather's light cloud with no mandatory pit. We'll have a short 9-minute break and then head into session 2. 15 minutes of qualifying. Weather is light cloud. The main race is 23 laps. Weather is light cloud to clear with a mandatory pit. So after the first round, we have Gallon 350 leading the championship with 238 points, with DK Rush not too far behind with 204. Last week in the sprint race, we had Gallon 350 take victory after coming second in qualifying, just missing out on the fastest lap. DK coming through with that. However, we had Gallon take a clean sweep in the main race, taking pole victory and the bonus fastest lap. And of course, drivers are competing for the next level racing wheel stand light. It's going to be a fantastic prize being made available courtesy of our sponsors Pagnian and Next Level Racing. Over to the track now. Drivers making their way out onto the track. They've got 15 minutes to get some practice in. We've got full 16 drivers on board. If you are just joining us for the stream and you haven't done so, don't forget to hit that follow button. You can be notified when we go live for all our live broadcast races. We do Project Cars 2 on Thursday nights and also iRacing on the Monday nights. There's plenty of Formula V action to be seen on Mondays. Yeah, Seb, we had a few in the reserve. We only had one spot that opened up. And then it was a quick rush for everyone to try and jump on that invite list. But it's likely we'll probably have a couple more spots next week. It's been a very popular series of the RS01s. If you want to get involved in any of the practicing too, Blake and Seb, if you're watching, if you check out all the guys and put some messages up in our group, they'll be more than happy to include you in any practice sessions. We've got DG tonight. He wasn't able to make it last week. As being the lucky one to get in from the reserve list tonight. And our championship leader, Gallon 350. Car number 1. Some very delayed camera shots in this one. Mikey Knight did debut with us last week for round 1. And for our new viewers, there are those sound effects controls, as you would have been noticing. Nightmare's jumping on with the applause and the cheers. Be sure to cheer on your favourite drivers. Let us know who you think is going to take the pole position, who'll take the win. We got Demon Effects. He's able to get back into our series after missing out for a little while with his Thursday nights not being available to race for a while. So it's good to have him back in our series again. After the first round, Demon is coming 9th in the championship. He's got 85 points, just trailing behind a little bit from Kakadu. And a little bit slippery there as he loses out. I think that may have actually been a little bit of a lag spike. No, he didn't bring that car in. A few cars are glitching a little bit. Simo Sims coming 13th in the championship. He's got 78 points. Skiddy's just ahead of him by 2. And we're missing Kakadu. He was online, but he didn't end up jumping on the invite to get into the session. First time's coming through. That's going to allow Demon Effects, who's only just behind Kakadu in points, to be able to move up a couple of spots quite easily now. Gallon takes the quickest time so far at 1:28.4. Just brought that car back in to the pits after setting that lap and then getting back out. Sami getting in with 1:29.5. And we will be still trying to give away one of our Apex Esports League's W coolers as well. So one of these guys can be in your possession. We'll be doing the same thing if you head to our Facebook page. Oh, Sami, very slippery, goes for the big broad slide. Just ahead of Philly, or was that possibly Wirra, I think it was. Yeah, Wirra just narrowly avoids him. So head to our Facebook page down below, there's facebook.com/Apex Esports League, and you'll see that we just put up a post saying that we're live with round 2. All you got to do is click that share button on the post, and then in the post, while you're sharing it, write who you think is going to be taking the lead in the championship at the end of this round. So we have Gallon 350 only just leading at the moment. But if you can get in with a share of that before the start of the second race, you'll go into the draw to win one of those. We didn't get anyone with the correct one last week. We still have one up for grabs. Bad Nate debuted last week as well. A couple of newcomers, and we're expecting to hopefully have a few other newcomers tonight. We feel some empty spots. We could have seen a few more new ones, so it would have been fantastic. Has come through for 1:28. DK's just snuck in a 1:27.399. It's a good full 1 second quicker than everyone at the moment. We had some very good strong pace last week. Mick gets a little bit slippery in that tail end as he comes around that bend. So there's 8 minutes left for the practice session. We'll jump on board for a lap around Zolder. We did see last week a lot of track limit penalties being applied. The game is very strict with the track limits. Zolder is very much the same again. So the more technical tracks, they are a lot more strict in those track limits. We did find at the end of race 1 there was only about 4 drivers that hadn't taken themselves a post-race time penalty. Yes, Noel, thanks for joining us, mate. We saw Dirty Monkey take some damage early on in the main race, I think it was. Out T-Rex. T-Rex had a great drive last week. He's coming 5th in the championship. He's got 142 points. Sami's just ahead of him by 26 points. That's Gallon making his way around T-Rex. Gallon getting a lot of speed. All those bullets have been taken out. I think that is Balarki. He's going for a spin through the chicanes. Hey, track days, yes, there to cheer on Bad Nate. Oh, he gets sliding again. and into a big spin. These cars really bite in and then snap out quite aggressively into a spin. However, they do like to stick when you do get that perfect line. A little bit of lag showing for Sami. Make sure we've covered everyone in the session. Lakai wasn't able to hang around for the second race last week. We did see him for the sprint race. Not sure if that's going to be the same circumstance for him tonight. If that is the case, we definitely be having an open spot available for some of our reserves as they're still available. So hopefully we might be able to see someone jump in if that is the case. Lakai can't stay for the full session. We've got two 127s now. Sami's come through for 127.774. Oh, a little bit of a slip again. Sure, it looked like Balaki really struggling with the car at the moment. He had an amazing result last week, taking first time on the podium. See, yes, DK will be coming on for a starting lap in a moment, so we're going to jump on board with DK. It's 4.5 minutes remaining, and it is a beautiful track at Zolder. Some great sights around the outside of the track. See those windmills down onto pitch straight. I think that maybe Kakadu just up ahead. Turn 1, pretty tricky. It is a fast corner. It can go really wrong if you get a lot of understeering. You will run off, and if you put that oversteering, you will spin out. And the very, very long turn 2 that basically rolls into turn 3. Another very quick one here. If you get a nice line, but you got to be very wary of that curb. That's where you'll actually have these cars slide out quite quickly. Galenov is obviously doing them. It's down to the chicanes. You can take this relatively quick if you get that right line. However, you just that little bit off, those curves are very high and it will bounce these things out quite aggressively. We saw it at the chicanes last week. Second chicane's a little bit more tricky. That's a big divot as you come up into the second part. If I stick through the back straight. To the final straight. You can go curb to curb, pretty flat out through that section. Heavy on the brakes here, very careful. You got to keep out wide, but not drop that tyre off, otherwise the braking's going to go wrong. And a little bit of slip as he comes through that final corner. You can hear it. They're getting a little bit loose. He hasn't got traction control on. That lap was a 1:29.8. Still a very good lap. It's not his fastest time, the 1:27.399. We've got 3 drivers currently with a 1:27. We have Sami. He's only 0.375 away from DK's time. And then Gallon only ever just slightly off as well. He's very tight. We did see that last week. Oh, Gallon having a few issues. Not sure if he's trying out a different setup at the moment. May not be working for him. Demon Effects. Fourth quickest time is only a second off. That is very tight. So we saw 7 seconds separating the field in last week's round. We're seeing that pretty similar at the moment. It's 8.9 seconds. 1:36.3 being set by Blakai. We're coming in with a 1:33.992. Oh, there's a spin there as well. I think that's DG's car. Oh, sorry, DJ's in the green car. Or is he? No, that must be his car. Even though we see his car at all. Not sure. Ooh. Bad name, just put the car into the wall. Here's someone swapping out a load up at the moment in pit lane. Ooh, T-Rex just bumped up a fair few spots, setting himself a 130.7. Only got 2 drivers in the 128s, Philly and Demon Effects. And Marky Mark and Mick Cliff in the front. Sorry, a 129. There's an Olno. Blake wasn't able to make it into it. We only had the one empty spot. And DG was the quickest on the finger to accept the invite for that one. So he managed to get in. With Kakadu being away from his console when the invites went out. So missing that spot. We're expecting Blake from iRacing and Sebastian, for those of you that watch our races on the Monday nights. They've ended up to decide trying to swap over onto Project Cars and give it a race as well. They do a fantastic job on iRacing. Sebastian taking championships and Blake as well. Has come through with a lot more pace now, setting a 129.7 than his last lap. Before that he was in the 133, a little bit slippery, won't be a spectacular lap time for him, but he did get that car under control. BK still holding the quickest time, going to look pretty promising for him to take pole position with a time like that. 129 doesn't improve that time. Skitty also wrapping up the laps, so it's just leaving Wirra out on the track now. I don't know where he's just brought the car in. He's got Skitty on track. 17 seconds. Finish up this last lap. And there we are. Practice session is done. We have DK Rush setting the quickest time, a 127.399. That's some very quick pace. So we have Sami not too far off, 0.375, and very tight between Sami and Gallen. There's not a whole lot of difference there in those sector times between the two. The driver's now got 15 minutes to get a time on the board for race 1. No worries. A little bit of lag going on. I think that's T-Rex's car. No, actually, who else? That might be Skitty. I think Skitty's got the matching car colours to T-Rex. We might get to look at a car in a moment when the cameraman wants to know what he's doing. So he's in matching team colours. Saying that they were giving each other the nicknames Slim and Dusty. That is Skinny and T-Rex tonight. See Gallen backing off. Holding back, he must be wanting to try and clear out a bit of track space for himself. He's going to work on getting some extra temp into those. Don't forget, we are actually raising money for Beyond Blue through our Formula V Championship on iRacing. And we are going to be incorporating bit of our fundraising efforts with Project Cars drivers, so that they don't miss out being on the console. We will be hosting an event on an extra event, should I say. It won't be actually taking over our Thursday night spot. We'll have it on a Friday or a Saturday night. We will be having a full no rules race once we reach our fundraising goal of $350. If you haven't done so, you can check out our Facebook page or our group, and it's got the links there to be able to donate to that cause if you just scroll through the feed. We're only $15 away from our first target, and then we will hold that no rules race. It'll see a lot of our drivers that we got now out on track, playing downright dirty with each other, cheating as much as they can. There will be no track limits. There'll be full contact allowed. There'll be no penalties whatsoever. So it'll be pretty interesting to see what we have. Is usually very clean and courteous driving, and then we'll just throw that all away for one night of pure mayhem. So stay tuned for that and try and get involved. If we can get that, we'll host that on the first coming Friday, Saturday night. First time's coming through for qualifying. Sami sets a 1:31 near flat. T-Rex also in with 1:31. Skitty joins along. Mark comes through with a 1:29 straight off the mark. Ooh, we're a 1:27.780 for his first opening lap. I think Mira may have been holding back a little bit in the practice session, not wanting to show what he was capable of. I do tend to find a few times Mira will be really sort of off pace in the practice session and then come through in qualifying and absolutely slam a spectacular lap. Not sure if he's fine-tuning in the practice or playing with race setups. He always gets in and throws out a fantastic lap in the qualifying. Most times are pretty tight between. Gallon comes in with 1:28.020. It's 0.2 away from Wiro. He did get in the 1:27s in the practice session. And there's points up for grabs to the championship for qualifying position. There's 25 points available for pole position. I'll try and get that lead on the championship. It is very crucial points to get. Scallon's only leading ahead of DK1 Rush by 34 points. And there's 60 points up for grabs for the win in the sprint race, as well as 10 bonus points to the driver who sets the fastest lap of the race. Clean sweep in session 1. We'll see them with 95 points. Gallon has snuck in front of Wira's time, a 1:27.093. Well, there's a bit of chaos going just after the chicane. I'm not sure who that is. Gallon's catching up to a bit of traffic now. He's got Mackay, Thami, and I think that's T-Rex. That might be Skitty. That's not Black Eye. That's in a yellow car. Bad Nate, sorry, yes, in Black Nvidia car. Bit of oversteer coming out of the corner exit for Gallon. He is probably feeling a fair bit of aero wash going through the corner, taking that double draft that he was getting. Ooh, bad Just goes for that big broad slide. I assume Bad Nate's probably streaming his point of view for the race as well. He did last week. He's switched his track days, and we've got track days in the chat as well. Hey, Weaven, just joining us, mate. Seeing a fair bit of movement on this position board. And Marky Mark doing very well, struggling with the car at the moment. We've got two drivers in with the 127s. We've got DK Rush not yet getting that 127 in yet. Track conditions have changed slightly, weather conditions are the same. Back cover is medium. DK lets Gallon through. DK isn't letting Gal through. Nick Cliff's just come through for a quicker time as well, so DK's now been bumped down to 6th position. Game session time is started at 10 AM. Practice was 9 AM. We simulate at double speed, so as 15 minutes progresses, we'll see 30 minutes of in-game time go through. And we will see those track temperatures go up. I would imagine it's probably around the 23-degree mark. Oh, that car gets right up over that curb, as we were mentioning, for the drivers when they go through those chicanes. You don't get that nice line, it'll bounce that car right up. And doing spectacular, especially from the controller. It's likely we weren't going to see him make it tonight, so I'm glad he was able to still get here. A bit slippery for that corner. We've seen a few cars run off wide there, and still see some track marks going out through the grass. There's 5.5 minutes remaining. Bad Nate's yet to get a time on the board for qualifying. He's got a bit of damage to that car. His broken windscreen at the moment. The car's probably been brought in. That's Palaki. That's just ran off. Car. PG doing well with a 130.7. Driver's a little bit off pace at the moment. There's 16.2 seconds separating the field. Bad Nate yet to get a time on the board. Luck not going his way in the qualifying. Gallons just brought that car in. Sure if Sami did run wide there. We may potentially see Sami have to drop out as well. If we do see him disconnect, he may have had to duck off if he's on standby for work. He could be called out. If we do see him disappear, that could potentially be it. We do have several drivers that were more than eager to jump in. So hopefully you guys are watching this and can jump in if it does. We'll shoot out an invite for the second session if that is the case. If you are a newcomer to our streams, our social media links down below. There's our Facebook page, it's got all the details to be able to follow, to support your favourite driver, see how they're going in the championship, and also read any incident reports that occur after the races. Plus there's also all information if you want to get involved in our races. The guys do plenty of stuff during the week in practice for these. You can even get involved and join in on some of the fun there. A lot of our drivers tend to do that before actually appearing in a series. They sort of lurk and get to know the cars and learn a lot from our drivers before heading over to our broadcast races. Gallen still holding pole position. 3 drivers in the 127s. DK's been bumped right down into 8th position now. He did hold back early on in the last week's round. And then came through with a flat out quick lap towards the back end. I haven't been on track with these guys during the week around Zolder. I did get in for a lot of practice with them last week for Imola, so I'm not quite sure what times the drivers have been getting. DK being about 2 seconds off his pace from the practice session. He's got some traffic to contend with. That's bad, Nate. Not sure who's in the white car. I think memorise more. Usually takes me a few rounds. Remember, it's your mate in the blue car. There's DK. I think DK's just moved up. So no, he's still in 8th position. So that was Marky in the other Nvidia car, in the black and white car. John. We're at Zolder, so in Belgium. This track is very much similar to Imola. It's a good, fast, tight, technical track. There's a minute left. Try and jump on board for a lap. I'm sure Sami will remain out for this final lap. He's not going to get another lap around. He's going to. Oh, he stole pole position. 126.9. We've seen that the 127 mark broken, and he bettered that time. He's got warmer tyres and a lighter fuel load. So down into the first chicanes. This is where we saw Mick get bounced right up. Those curves are right up. He can miss that, cut that second curve just slightly. This one's a little bit more tricky and much more strict. Quite easy to cut that inside corner, turning left through the end of the chicane. Very fast out right bend. Oh, it's quicker. Could be beating this pole setting lap. All runs a little bit wide. 90 seconds left for qualifying. Drivers are now on last laps. Sami's pace is ahead of his previous time of 126.9. And it was lucky too because Gallen came through for 126.997. Didn't beat it. That still was a quick lap. That was a 126.989. His fastest lap was a 126.945. That is very quick. And it's lucky he did get that time in. As Gallen just snuck through for that last lap of 126.997. Whereas in with a 127.7. DK in the 129s. He's coming up to his last lap now. Will he improve it? Surely it was a better lap for him. He is. It moves him up into position 5. The 128.2. He's saving the best to last. Still wasn't as great as his 127 set in the practice session. That could also potentially be a strategic move as well. It's going to be quite clustered going through turn 1. The cars are going to have a fair bit of pace. And it's very wide, and that corner is easily misjudged. You can even usually see cars getting to nearly 5 wide trying to scramble through for positions around that first section of the track. Sector 1's going to be pretty intense. And there we have qualifying is done and dusted. And Sami takes pole position with a 126.945. In position 2 is only 0.052 difference between the two. There is not much in them. It's only 0.1 in sector 2. It's only 0.044 in sector 3. And there's the most to be made up in sector 1, surprisingly. So it is very tricky that those first few corners, they appear to be very wide and easy to take. However, they actually are rather tricky and can be quite risky when there is going to be 16 cars looking for a spot. So over we go, ready for the start of race 1 in round 2 of the Pagnian Imports RS01 Trophy. Drivers got a couple of minutes to get those setups ready for the race. Can focus on a different car that's going to let us see a better start. We try and get him to zoom out. Probably a better spot for us there. We'll be able to see a little bit of darting go around. Cars are positioned quite wide on the grid. Going to be lots of room to try and duck out into the middle. You're going to have to be wary of who's doing the same alongside them. Don't forget, if you want to get your hands on the stubby cooler, you can go into the draw to get your hands on this if you share our Facebook post on our Facebook page, the fb.com/Apex eSports League. Go to the post we put up around 7:30, saying that we are live with round 2. If you share that and then in your post put in who you think's going to be leading, please put in someone for the win. So you can say Gallon for the win, and then that will get you an entry in for it. And Gallon is leading it, but you do have to do that before the start of race 2. It's going along. Here we go, lights about to go green for the start of race 1 of round 2. It's a very quick getaway for Sami. He pulls away quite quickly. He's managed to get about a car length ahead of Gallon as he heads into turn 1. About 2-3 cars wide down towards the back end. Looks like it's a pretty clean lap for the start of the race. Gallon is putting on some pretty quick pace coming through turn 2. He is closing that gap in on Sami. Sami's starting to pull away again. The sector differences that we saw in the qualifying, Sami was much quicker than Gallon in sector 1. However, Gallon did close that gap in pretty quickly through the first couple of corners, and then Sami made it up throughout the rest of it. There's a fair few battles going on down this back end. This battle going on for 4th position. Oh, that gets up alongside of Bad Nate. Sorry, that wasn't Bad Nate. That's DK's car, was it? Actually, he's in the Marky Marks. I was wrong, that was Mick Cliff that was battling it out, and Mick does usually do so well with the battles as he does this from the controller, so he struggles a little bit. Oh, look at that switch out by Marky Mark, and then they brought through turn 2. Sami is pushing out that lead now. He's almost leading by 1 second as he starts lap 2. Billy is sitting hot tight on the tail of Gallon. Gallon's really seemed to have dropped some pace off at the moment. Drivers taking out those bollards as they head through the first chicanes. Gallon gets through second chicanes a lot quicker than Philly. Manages to pull away a lot quicker. DK's starting to hone in on Wirra. DK's first lap was half a second slower than Wirra. He's made up for it as he's gotten through Sector 1. We're seeing a few red numbers up on the board. Drivers are being given post-race time penalties. Billy's copped a penalty. It's probably a 1 second penalty. So that's 2 seconds. He's either taken a couple or he was more of a cut than expected. DK still trying to close down in on Wirra. Okay, having some great race pace, a little bit of screeching as he goes around the corner. This track is very brutal on the tyres. Tyre strategy is going to be key when it comes to the long race. As we head into 23 laps. It'll be interesting to see what drivers do for tyre choice. Their cars can be fully customised. We haven't locked to default setups. DK slipping back a little bit from Wirra, and he has T-Rex starting to close down on him. Oh, he's just gone for a spin too. He's recovered. He just slipped a little bit. T-Rex was considering getting out and around. He's falling back now through the back section of Sector 3. Dropped down into 12. He's off into the pits, so it looks like he's taken some damage. Car didn't look too bad for Mick. Too drastic, maybe took a small amount of suspension damage. Our race leader Sami now pulling ahead by 4 seconds. That's 4 laps in, that's 1 second per lap. He's got some fantastic pace. Look at the time he's just set at 127.783. We're seeing pretty similar pace to that of qualifying. Saw several drivers in the 127s. Sami getting in with 126.9. Now he's got some catching up to do, but he doesn't have as much pressure from Philly now. Whether taking position 2 won't be too drastic for Gallen. Won't have too many points difference between his next competitor, which is DK Rush, who's coming second in the championship and is trailing by 34 points. Finish a few positions above. DK not having too much of a successful qualifying session. It could still be fortunate for Gallen in trying to put out a lead for the championship. Starting to catch up to Simo Simsel. He's a couple of seconds ahead of him. There's a fair bit of spacing going on. It is slowly catching up to Dirty Monkey. Oh, Bad Nate gets up on 2 wheels. That's the chicane that really froze these cars. It's quite steep. That was unfortunate for him, but at least he doesn't take damage, so it's not race crippling. DK's closed that gap in on Wirra yet again. Look at all those red numbers on the leaderboard. For those of you that aren't aware, Project Cars 2, once you see that red number up there, that means the driver's wearing a post-race time penalty. Very different line taken by DK compared to Wirra. He did use the full length of the track. He stayed out very wide just before the tyre drops off into the dirt, turning quite sharply in. It was a beautiful line to have taken. He did contemplate going for a move around Wirra. He didn't have enough to slingshot around. It would have been a very awkward position to be in at the chicanes. There's not a lot of room to try and pass around this track. DK's car. Let's see where Wirra's pulled away. DK a little bit cautious on that corner. Came in a little bit too quick. I think that really threw him off. He's possibly going to have a bit of understeer, so he actually spent more time just straight line braking. Not appearing to be handling too well for him through sector 3. It's allowed T-Rex to catch up. That lap relatively slow. It was a 1:33.054. It's really off his pace for that lap. It's opened up a big opportunity for T-Rex to potentially get around him on this lap if this continues. He's going to have to try and get the car under wraps, push away a little bit more. Sure if he may even be contending with a little bit of damage. The car seems to be a little bit off pace at the moment. Very nice line. Well, DK pulls away a little bit quicker than T-Rex. We're on lap 7 of 11. 4 to go. Barney's now leading by nearly 8 seconds. He's still on the same form, so he's doing about a second a lap. Over that last lap he did was a 1:28. Gallen's put in a 1:27.8. It's marginally quicker that lap around. But even at that same pace, it's not going to be enough to catch up nearly 8 seconds. Army doing a fantastic job in that car. Philly's just taken position 2 from Gallen. Gallen may have made a mistake. He did have a bit of a gap between him and Philly. However, Philly does have a 2-second time penalty. Gallen doesn't have to be too worried about taking a position. As long as he keeps that tight gap between him and Philly, he will take P2 back once they cross the checkers. A little bit offline. It's 3 cars battling it out currently. This is where a DK and T-Rex take position 4. Down in that dip as they hit the second chicane. T-Rex showing a lot of pace. He's really putting a lot of pressure on DK. He gets up along the inside, takes that position away from him. It was a beautiful pass. Once the camera wants to actually focus back on him, but they're still fighting it out through the next corner. He's just lost that position back, twitching back. 11 laps, John. 3 to go. 2 to go now, sorry. Sami's just started lap 9. These 4 are still pretty tight. Demons starting to close in and join in on the party as well. DK loses a little bit of pace coming through the turn 2. DK loses it through turn 3. He loses a lot of speed. That's allowed T-Rex to get up along the side of him. is right side by side as they approach into the chicane. DK owns the track position there, but he's going to have to stay out wide to avoid contact. Great exchanges between these two. They are fighting very hard for this position. Whereas probably quite happy to see these guys duke it out, give him a little bit of break from the pressure that they were putting on. DK ran slightly wide back in the midsection of Sector 2. Demon starting to close in on T-Rex. He's a lot quicker than both DK, Wira and T-Rex. The last lap around was 1:29 flat. That lap was 1:30. The others, sorry, DK and T-Rex set at 1:31. Oh, he's just messed up. Bit of oversteer cost him all that time he'd gained on them. Lap 10. Yeah, this is the first race, John. Oh, T-Rex bends it. He left out. If we can get back onto the camera, we don't know what's going on. That looked like a pretty solid hit. Doesn't seem to be troubled too much by it. That's pretty lucky for T-Rex. Sami's taken a slowdown as well, and he has dropped off a fair bit of time. He's now only leading by 5.6 seconds. He's got traffic to get around. That's Balaki just up ahead. Did just get around. I think that's Kai and Simo's car. Around Simo, there's Balaki. 6 seconds away from Mick Cliff, but it is the last lap. He doesn't want to get tangled up in any incidents with the lapped cars. He leads by 5 seconds. He's only got a 1 second time penalty. Philly's got 2 seconds. He's got plenty of time up his sleeve to just ensure a good, clean, safe lap, and that will guarantee his victory. Philly has got that 2 second time penalty. If Gallen sits tight, he'll be able to take P2 away from him. Philly just gets around Simo Zimzel. That could have been nicely timed. Could very well hold Gallen back a little bit. Give him that little bit of a safety net. Well done to Simo. Backs off on the throttle on the corner exit to allow Gallen to get through quickly and cleanly. Gallen, looks like a little bit of lag going on, so it was fine. It looked like he did drop off the track. Here Sami crosses the line, checkered flag, taking victory in race 1 of round 2. Congratulations, Sami. Philly crosses the line in position 2, but I think that's just not enough to be ahead. Gallen should take that back. No, Gallen also had the time penalty in the end. He took 2 seconds, so maintains that position. Gallen takes podium in position 3. Vera in position 4, he's crossed the line. Demon in 5, T-Rex in 6, Marky Mark taking 7th position, DK in 8th, Dirty Monkey in 9th. Giddy takes 10th. Bad Nate crosses the line in 11th position. It's just under a minute to get final laps done. Well done to DG, taking 12th position. Eclipse in 13th. Dimo 14th. The guy in position 15. it's AI that's driving these cars or not. Could be likely. It's just a little bit of a hang on from the game. Yes, and that does look like clean sweep for Sami in session 1. So after taking pole position, takes victory, and also the fastest lap with a 1:27.614. And also on the podium is Philly in second and Gallen in third. So doing spectacular there, and all of them wearing time second penalties. Only a few cars by the looks of it that didn't get it. So the rest of the field, we've got Weira, Demon, T-Rex, Mark, DK, Dirty Monkey, Skitty, Bad Nate, DG, Mick Cliff, Simo Simsel, Lakai, and Balaki. So that's the first session done for round 2. So there's more action to come from the RSO1s at Zolder. We will be having a 9-minute break, then be heading into session 2. So it'll be 15 minutes of qualifying, and then drivers will have the main race. That's 23 laps. And there is a mandatory pit requirement for the race. There's going to be some great action there. So don't forget you'll need to share that post and put out who you think is going to have the lead at the end of round 2. So you can get those entries in for the stubby cooler. So we'll be back shortly and then see you for session 2. And welcome back for session 2 of round 2. We are at Belgium for Zolder. And it is the RSO1 Trophy Series, sponsored by Pagnian Imports and Next Level Racing. So we can check out the track here. Track length is 4.01 kilometres. There are 10 turns. Weather the conditions for qualifying that we're heading into, there is light cloud cover. And then the weather will progress in the race from light cloud through to clear conditions. So we're going to see some slight increase in track temperatures. Drivers mentioning that the tyres took quite a beating in the sprint race. Some drivers have actually usually been able to weather out the main race with a set of tyres. I think some of the drivers were contemplating whether a set of hards may last out. Track temperatures are reasonably high. You can usually get away with using the hard compound, so it'll last a little bit longer and then potentially not have to spend the time swapping out. Lucky a little bit loose coming around turn 3. And we did just have Sami take clean sweep for session 1. Can he do it again for session 2? The drivers made it through into race 2. Sami hasn't been called out. Kai was able to still hang around. Philly had a great first race. Gallen being held up by some back markers, then also taking a post-race time penalty on the last lap, taking away that advantage he had over Philly, who was wearing a 2-second penalty. He could have potentially stolen that P2 away from him. I did jump in the chat just before we jump back in as well. We're in the lobby. He's asking how we can enter in for the stubby court. You just got to head to our Facebook page, so the link is down at the bottom of the stream. Facebook.com/Apex eSports League. You will see at 7:30 on the timeline, put out a post to the stream saying we're live with round 2. All you got to do is click share on that post, and then where you can write something in with your post. Put in who you think will have the lead at the end of round 2. Try and gauge us a little bit of who probably good opportunities for maintaining the lead. We had Gallen head into round 2 with a 34-point lead ahead of DK Rush. Philly and Sami with 185 points and 168 points. Both did finish ahead of Gallen. It will be the main race that's worth the big points. It's 120 points for taking a win. Philly or Sami, if they have another good hit like they did in race 1, could easily take the lead. Gallen comes through first time, 129. Sami in with a 128. Showing some very quick pace. And he is a full section of turn 1. He went out very wide. DG setting a 130.3. T-Rex also in 1:33.85.001 off from DG's time. We saw some great battles between DK and T-Rex in race 1. A few exchanges in those last few laps. Ooh, a little bit slippery. I think that's Bad Nate's car. Doesn't take any contact with the wall. He hasn't done any damage, but it's going to be a little debris scattered. It's going to be a little bit slippery as they come out of the second chicane. Cool as normal. Congratulations on the result on Monday night too, mate. That was a fantastic drive. Philly setting a 1:33.8. Philly in the Vazmac car. Matching issues going on with T-Rex. There's a fair few lag skips going on for him. Going on with Wira with the car at the moment. Throttle's blipping a little bit. Not sure what's going on for Wira. He may be climbing for the brakes. Trying to get them up to temp. Looks like he's really trying to zone in and focus and then let the traffic start to disappear. He's got someone on his tail, but that should be fine. Might stay on board for a lap with Wira. He's really gearing up for this lap, so it's probably going to be a cracker of a lap. He's out nice and wide, hugging that wall, down through turn 1, up over that curb. A little bit short of the exit curb there, you can run that a little bit more wide. A little bit more early turn in. Turn 2. Going to the chicanes. It's off pace though. Ooh, bounce over that curb. It's probably going to ask him to slow down. Yeah, you can hear him backing off, so that's a good example of just how strict the chicane there is. So he'd be wearing off the lap so it doesn't invalidate it. It wouldn't really affect him too much. I'm going to try and get some temp into those tyres. Corner, we saw a few get loose. Off camber corner is very slippery, so he knows his lap's done with, so he's just let Nick Cliff go through. Making the scenic route for this hot lap with Wira at the moment. He's definitely off pace. We did see this happen in the qualifying before, so there's pit entry there. And that is a lap around, an unfortunate lap for Wira. Wasn't the luckiest of them for him. And here comes DK back with some flat stick times again. Putting a 1:27.5. Marky Mark's also in the 1:27 mark. 1:27.9. Let's just bring that car back out of the pits. Sami's not too far off that. He's taking it cautiously at the moment. We did see those 1:26s get laid down much later in the session. He's running very similar fuel load at that point as well. Now he's just brought the car in. Very well for 1:29.4. There's no drivers in the 128 mark. They've all just broken into the 127s. Delayed switch. And Cliff currently 9th. He's slowing down to be able to bring the car in. Gallon back out with fresh load of fuel and tyres. There's 5 minutes remaining of qualifying. DK currently holds pole. Gallon having some fun with that car, getting that tail very loose. His traction control is off. So he's having a fair bit of fun with that car. DK's brought the car into the pits. He's got enough time to still get back out there and try and improve that time. If anything's to go by from the first session, a 126 could easily be set. We had both Gallon and Sami in the 126s. And Skiddy in with a 129.5. 2 seconds off from the pole time. 13 seconds separating the field. We did have 8 seconds in the first qualifying session. We're really off pace at the moment. We did see that happen in the practice where he sort of held back with some slower lap times and then came through with the opening lap of qualifying, absolutely putting down a flat out time. Got the car to a nice level of fuel. Very nice line. I think this is the lap that he's going for it. There's not many chances to do it now. There's only a couple of laps left in the session. Probably not getting down that same pace, but he did set the 126s in the last few laps of qualifying. Can he do it again? Should be able to see some sector data for him in the moment. It's Dirty Monkey running off track. Brought the car in. Lag spikes for Sami. See car crab walking a little bit around on the track. Some latency differences that we're seeing. I think that's Mackay that was just off track. Sami improves the time. It's not enough to take pole away. I think that was may have been Gallon's car. I think it was Gallon. Gallon's currently running 4th. 127.981. Marking Mark up in the top 3. 127.720. 047 away from Sami's time and 147 from DK's. Going to take much to try and shave a little bit from each sector and be able to steal that pole time away. There's a minute 25 remaining for qualifying. For any of you that have just joined us as well, don't forget to hit that follow button. Live with Project Cars Racing on Thursday nights and then iRacing on Mondays, so plenty of sim racing action to be seen. Or even if you want to get involved in our races or just follow our drivers, there is our Facebook page down below. Is the bit.ly/ApexESL. That's linked to our YouTube. All our past broadcasts get saved over to there. He has stolen that pole position, a 1:27.176. Less than half a second difference between him and DK. Ooh, that's just cost him. That's done it for him for this. Ooh, and I think, was that Gallen? I think that was Gallen. Yeah, it was Gallen that took contact with Sami, so that's both ended their qualifying. There's not going to be another chance to get out for another lap. Whereas bumped up into position 8. He's got this car going flat stick. This is going to be the last chance he has. Don't forget, he's coming in close to last chance for you to win an Apex eSports League stubby cooler. We're going to share that live post from our Facebook page with who you think is going to be leading the championship at the end of round 2. That'll get you in with the chance to win the stubby cooler. Skitty currently holding off. Oh, Bad Nate's just copped himself a grid place penalty. He's taken 1 grid place penalty. The red number in qualifying means they've sped in pit lane. The positions stay as they are. We'll see Dirty Monkey move up into position 12. Bad Nate will drop down into 13th. Can Marky improve this lap and steal pole away? There's not much to try and shave it off. Oh, he moves DK down, takes position 2 back. That is very quick. Brilliant lap for Mark. Then we have qualifying done for Zolder. Heading into the main race, we have Sami taking pole again, setting a 1:27.176. Not quite getting into that 1:26 mark that we saw in the first session. It's also starting on the rest of the grid. We have Marky in second and DK in third. And the rest of the grid is Philly, Gallen, Demon, T-Rex, Wira, Mickcliff, DG, Skitty, Bad Nate. Drops down into 13 from that grid place penalty. Dirty Monkey moves up into position 12. Then we've got Simo, Simzel, Blakai, Warrior, and Balaki. And I did just forget to screenshot the results so that I can actually score these guys after the race. So I better make sure I do that. So then we'll head over now onto the grid. Drivers will have a couple of moments to get ready for the race. They will need to make sure they select a pit strategy. That's going to be very crucial to getting a good result out of the race, especially their tyre strategy that they're going to go for. May be interesting to see if some drivers have opted for the hard and try and make it last out. Track temperatures may be warm enough to do it. Definitely will be, possibly at the back end. Game session time is starting 2 p.m. The weather conditions are light cloud and then it will randomly progress to full clear conditions. That will start to warm it up, but since time progression is ×2, the course of usually about 35 minutes it takes for our main race. That will see an hour of time being simulated in the game. That means it's going into those mid-afternoon temperatures which will start to drop off. So hopefully the clear conditions may maintain those track temperatures and they could last out on a set of hards. Drivers do have full custom setup. Oh, Sami, a bit of a rollback there. You can see him turn slightly. Just correcting the car back. Oh, he's nudging it forward. He's really pushing the boundaries. He's trying for a great start. But he did get away a little bit delayed. Mark gets off to a good start, but it's not enough. Sami maintains that lead. He's going to be in a good position to hold the line. We've got a few cars wide down in the top end, looking to battle it out for third position. DK just ahead of Philly. He tucks in. Oh, there's a little bit of a bump. I think DK had to slow up coming into that. Philly wasn't able to get under brakes enough. He's side by side with Demon Effects. Demon's just ahead of him. Oh, there's a roll car. I think that's Demon. No, I think that is... Oh, some more contact going on again. There's chaos. There's a car on top of another car. There's cars sliding every which way. I think that was T-Rex also. Philly is hit pretty bad. There's complete chaos everywhere. There's a few cars who are missing the back wings. Well, there's fuel lag, which is going on as well. Taking a little while for the game to probably sync up. You can see Skitty getting a few lag skips. Gallon's got a fair bit of damage. Dirty's car is... Yeah, there's definitely some lag issues going on. It's probably what's caused all these contact incidents. For the game to be lagging quite a fair bit still through the first lap. Cars going off track and back on. The tidy lap that we saw for lap 1 in race 1. Gallons head into the pits, same as Weir. Dummy's leading early by 0.8. Marky is holding it really tight. He's already wearing a time second penalty, a 1 second penalty will be applied at the end of the race. Dimo and McCliff side by side, but gets just in front, ahead of the first chicane. That's where the chaos ensued last lap around, and it continued on into the next chicanes. Simo just cuts the chicane. That's going to be a slow down for him. It's going to be enough for Demon to be able to get around from him. Tucks in just enough. Dirty Monkey's positioned himself out on the outside edge. There's some lag skips going on for Dirty. See him skipping all over, so that means he could be potentially on the path with another car. They may not see it. Lakai Warrior up in 4th position. He's got Mick Cliff and Demon Effects quickly closing in. Mick Cliff carrying a lot of speed onto the pit straight. Not enough to carry through from turn 1. Gonna get him through turn 2. He's not quite enough on him. On the roof of Mick's car. Just that much wider line. Mick is having some spectacular speed through the chicanes. Braking it much later than Blackeye. Ooh, and gives him a bump. I think he just got bumped himself. There's a spin out. Oh, there's contact at the back as well. That's Demon Effects. His car's gone flying up into the air. Not sure. I think that's Valaki's car that's also taken the hit. Been spun out along just after that crest. So the cars were coming over the crest and had nowhere to see. That's where you wish this game had replay functionality so you go back and see what was going on. Replay is going to be very interesting to watch back and see what's happened with all these incidents. I'm going to be keeping me very busy for the next few days checking those out. Bad Nate's car looking in pretty bad shape. He hasn't opted to bring the car in. Whether with the amount of lag spikes that we were seeing, it could potentially be just visual damage. That's the difference in latency between what we could be seeing, what the game is actually doing, and actually the game could think the car's driven through a wall. Sami runs wide but saves that and brings it back in. Starting to pull away on Mark. That last lap was only 0.2 quicker. Mark is hanging on pretty well. Sami did misjudge that corner a little bit, lost a bit of speed. It's about half a second that he had over. Philly's just quietly plugging away, closing the gap in on Sami and Mark. Philly's had a fantastic round so far. It's a brilliant drive in race one. These guys lucky to have escaped all the chaos and carnage from lap 1 and 3. A little bit off pace. I think he may have a slowdown that he's abiding by. Let's just let DK get through. DK moves up into position 4. Mark still closing that gap in on Sami. He is honing down him very quickly. Kai having further issues, has now dropped down into 15th position. Sorry, 14th. Balaki in 15th, Demon Effects in 16th, both being involved in that incident at the crest. Having Demon's car shot up into the sky, almost hitting the crosswalk bridge overhead. So very, very high speed hit. It's quite a lengthy repair time. It's probably a couple of laps have gone through. They're on lap 5. No, they're only a lap down. That is lucky. Me and Mark are still both cheating around that same gap. Get down to about 0.7. Does creep back up to the 1 second mark. Allen getting quite severely damaged on lap 1. Recovered into position 10. Having actually been into the pits, his strategy to start off with enough to be able to last out on a full set of tyres. It means he won't have to head back in to the pits again. So he'll be able to recover a little bit more as the race goes on. Cuts that chicane. The crest where it all went wrong for Demon and Balaki. They're battling it out. Balaki just running wide. I think that's turn 2, I believe. No, he's Black Skitty playing to close in on Bad Nate. A few seconds away. The front bar is flapping about on Skitty's car. Did look like there was potential damage. There's a fair bit of damage to that side from Bad Nate. Closing in on T-Rex. A little bit of an oversteer coming out of the second chicane. We have had might have to drop out. Able to hang around for the race. Oh, it's still sitting at that 0.9 mark. Seeming to have a lot more pace through Sector 1 compared to Mark. We did see that Sami was quite dominant in Sector 1 through the qualifying sessions in Race 1. DJ's is gone. Slide out in front of Dirty Monkey. That's his cost him position. Like some contact to a wall again. Not sure who that is. Gallen's closing down on T-Rex. We saw this last lap around the same spot. T-Rex held on. Gallen did lose a lot of speed on that same section. He's close, he swings out to look for an opening on that outside line. A lot quicker through that tight right-hander. Sitting super tight. Swings out, positions well. Oh, a little bit of a touch as he comes into turn 10. Gets around. Simo Simsel. Teddy is also wearing that bit of front aero damage. A few scrapes down the right hand side as well. Could potentially even be some lag issues. Still trying to hold on to Gallen. Don't give that pushing away too easily. He's looking to try and blame it back from him. Our race leader, Sami, is currently lap 9 of 23. Really been pushing this car pretty hard. So he's getting some decent lap times out of the car. During the fuel loads, double the weight of what they were running for race 1. 129.3 is a very good lap time. Gets down to 128.9. Potentially be fastest lap, 128.342. It's the fastest lap of the race, and that is to Sami. There is potential here, could be another clean sweep. Mark's dropped off away from position 2. Billy's climbed up into position 2 now. 5.7 seconds away from Sami. That's ran off track, a crucial error. He's dropped back a fair bit of pace. He's still sitting around that 0.9 mark from Sami. He's now trailing from the race leader by nearly 7.5 seconds. 3 seconds ahead of Nick Cliff. 15 seconds until he catches up to position 3. He's got some laps cars coming up. We're nearing the point where we had for our sprint race. It's likely we could see some cars peel off into the pits. Those drivers that had to head in and deal with damage early on in the race. Be interesting to see if they opt for a second stop. There's Mark heading into the pits now. Opting for a stop at the halfway mark. Sami's dropped back as well. Gone for a big spin to have dropped back by 5 seconds. Billy now in the lead of the race. That's Balaki's car that he's just gotten around. I'm sure Sami has gotten around him as well. So Sami will need to get around Balaki. Out of the pits, going to come out at the 7th position, possibly 8th. So just out in front of Wirra. Wirra's going to have to play caution here. Tricky pit exit as they come out around that fast corner. Rubber. Honing down on Wirra probably pretty quick. DK's got a way to catch up to Sami and Philly. Only 22 seconds behind. Got 4 seconds between him and Mick Cliff in position 4. Sami has copped himself a 3-second time penalty. It's looking pretty good for an opportunity for a win for Philly. Currently ahead of Sami by 4.5 seconds, and then to have the extra post-race time penalty put on, that's just furthered his gap. Safer getting a win. It's Philly peeling off into the pits now. Tyres probably pretty shot. Sami opts to stay out for a lap, or is he going to head in? He's staying out for a lap, so he'll take back the race lead. If he goes for a fantastic couple of laps, doesn't get held up or make a mistake, he could possibly claim back a few more seconds. Get him for a very quick pit stop compared to Philly. Could potentially see them come back out pretty neck and neck. DK moves up into position 2. DK will need to pit yet. Philly's making his way out. Got Mick Cliff coming up pretty quick as well. Stays wide. Don't know if Nick has actually been in and pit or not. Currently we have Bad Nate in 5th position. Oh, who's just ahead of him? That's Demon Effects just ahead of him. Demon Effects currently on lap 12, so it's a lap down. Timo and Skiddy both peel off into the pits. For a spin, he's just ran wide through turn 1. We're losing that position to Mark. Mark has served his mandatory pit requirement. He's just got to slog it out there and keep it clean for those laps, and he's going to move up some positions quite easily as they head off into the pits. tyres last out for the remaining half of the race. There's 9 laps to go. Barney in the lead. Having lost that lead. A few laps to go. Billy taking that off from him. Billy has been in pit, re-entered on track in position 3. Got a couple of seconds till he catches up to DK. However, DK will need to pit in. There we go, Mick has just pit in. We had not pit yet. Says normal, that's right. Big fight back from Gallen. As I mentioned earlier, if he can utilize, depending on what strategy he did opt for, I think he may have been potentially going to try and have a set of hards to last out the race. Just didn't know how track temperatures were going to hold out to be able to have enough grip from those tyres, otherwise the car's going to be very slippery early on and cause lots of problems. It could have even been the case for what was a little bit more chaotic on lap 1. Drivers could have been running the hard compounds and found the cars to be having a lot less stick. He's just going to the pits now. Clawed his way back into 4th position. Philly has pit. 1.3 seconds away from DK. He'll need to head into the pits. Just gets around Simo Simsel. Around a little bit. Gives that room. Just he's going to have to brake a little bit more and let him through. Brilliantly done. Through very nice and clean. Barney now to get around Simo. DK's lap times are slowing off a little bit. Driving a little bit more cautiously at the moment. I'm not sure if that's a tyre conserving tactic that he's doing or whether the car may be getting a little bit slippery if he was running the softs. Yeah, I think it may have been a little bit slippery for being out there for 15 laps. Really takes back the race lead. Behind Philly by 10 seconds. DK's in the pits now as well, getting a set of tyres. And Gallen catch up in enough time? I don't think he will. He's going to be racing, it's going to be pretty tight. I think Gallen may take back position 3, it could be likely. You can see on the map, the arrow on the right there is Gallen is just ahead of DK. DK just entering back on the track. The horrendous accident severely damaged Gallen's car on lap 1 and having to pit on the opening lap to climb back into position 3. We're putting down as Gallen being your series leader at the end of round 2 to try and win the stubby cooler. It's probably going to be a good one. I did not think at the time, once we saw just the state of Gallen's car from that incident on lap 1. But he's made his way back up very nicely, and this is where the big points are at. 120 points for a win. Billy's going to be in a pretty good position because he was coming 3rd in the championship. for having finished second in the sprint race tonight. And if you can take a win in the main race, having 185 points, and then several positions ahead of DK, you could easily take a lead in the championship, or at least be coming second and take that spot away from DK. Gallen maintains his current position, he scored 96 points, coming third. There's 108 points up for grabs for position 2. There are those 10 bonus points for the fastest lap of the race. There's all get back and Gallen. Cars space out a little bit. We'll just see who's currently got the fastest lap of the race. Looks like a 127.8. That's Gallen. That is very quick. So it can be 10 extra bonus points. So if Gallen gets a good recovery and stays in position 3, having those 10 extra points will be very beneficial. As you'll score 96 points for taking third. With 10 bonus points, that'll be 106, so only 2 points shy from position 2. It's good to see we didn't get any attrition from the carnage that started. Did it 15 cars on the grid. Mackay not being able to stay for the remainder of the race tonight. It's him jumping in the chat just before. For those of you that are in the chat, you can see it. Mackay mentioning he wasn't able to last out for the remainder. Starting to get a bit of ground covered between him and Dirty. And they've just been passed by our race leaders. Darby now catching up to Simo Simzel. I think Simo's a couple of laps down. They've recovered one after the guys went into the pits. Chooses for that slower inside line to let him through. It's fantastic. Sami get through quickly and cleanly. He lags. What's going on for Dirty? Oh no, that's Sami. Sami has spun. He's still in position 2. That's going to be beneficial for Gallen to potentially catch up. No, Gallen's also been involved. Gallen's dropped back down into 5th position. Not sure if they're on the same sections of the track. That was Gallen and Sami both simultaneously having an incident. Sami's lucky did not lose a position. About 14 seconds between him and position 3. DK seems to have Mark closing that gap on him rather rapidly. Last lap was about 1.3 seconds quicker compared to DK. Gallen. There's Gallen sitting tight. Got right up at the tail of Mark. There's a little bit of oversteer that just made him lose out some speed. As I was mentioning before, it could be likely, just depending on what Gallen's strategy was for tyres, with having to pit in the first lap to deal with the damage. Potentially be skating out there with some very slippery tyres. I think that may be the case. He's probably just try and weather it out for 3 or 4 laps. Mark also spun out there, so it's just allowed Mick to move up into position 4. Gallen is having trouble out there with tyre wear. He's going to have to decide whether hitting in or staying out there at a much slower pace or potentially risking an incident, which is going to be the better option. Our race leader, Philly, now on lap 21. There's 2 to go till we see the checkered flag. Will Philly be able to maintain that and be the one taking that flag home? Struggling with that car. We're going to have to play very cautious with the car. Just try and maintain the position he's got. Got T-Rex about 5 seconds away from him. Else just dropped down to 3. Skitty still trying to close down in on Dirty. Oh, not now. He's just oversteered coming out of the chicane. Oh, makes 4 contact as he comes back on. That was a pretty hard hit into that barrier wall. There on his lonesome at the moment, leading by 10.7 seconds. Barmy currently in position 2. Having lost that position, only just losing time after running off for that spin. He's got ample time between him and DK, which is good too, as Sami is wearing a 3-second post-race time penalty. It's not much chance for him to take a win. Gonna have to get well ahead of Philly, unless something drastic goes on for Philly. Cliff was in 4th position. He's got Marky Mark closing in on him. Oh, Gal's just gone off again. That car did not stop or want to turn in through turn 1. I really think he's got nothing left in those tyres, as he did pit in on lap 1. He's been out there for another 20 laps. Those tyres are going to be fairly well had it. Unfortunate for Gallen. As long as he can maintain that position, it's not going to be too bad. Did come into the round with a 35-point lead. We have Mark hunting down Mick Cliff. For our championship leader, Gallen, scoring position for him in the sprint race, got him 48 points. Did get to the 2nd qualifying position, so that's 23 points. If he finishes in 7th at 66 points, his closest competitors were DK and Philly. Oh, Mark, that car just snapped in. That was an aggressive snap. That was pretty hard. That's going to cost him big time there. Can he recover? It's a pretty solid hit. That's just how I've mentioned before with these cars, how aggressively they can react. So as soon as they start to get into a spin, as soon as you try and correct that, you can start getting good old tank slappers going on. And car will just aggressively flick around. Not going to be enough of an incident to allow Gallen to catch up. I think he's come undone again. There's race is complete. Billy crosses the line, taking victory. Sami on the podium position too. Well done, Philly. That's a fantastic drive. Some rolling 23 laps. DK crosses the line, taking podium. Congratulations, DK and Mick Cliff coming up in 4th position. We'll be inviting Philly, Sami and DK in for a chat. So if you've got any questions for our drivers, be sure to throw it into the chat and I can relay it to them. T-Rex in 5th position, Mark in 6th. Gallen holding on. He's only got a couple corners to go. He's got a severely wounded car. It's not steering straight. Oh, he's going to lose that out. He's going to crash it across the line. Frustrated with that car. So where it takes 7th position. Gallen in 8th. Given effects coming up in 9th position. Then we have conclusion for round 2. Philly Manili taking the victory. And I think the fastest lap still went to Gallen by the looks of things. 127.847, so 10 bonus points going to Gallen's way. And he did only do that one pit stop. We had DG and Balaki ended up having to make 2 pit stops. So well done, Philly, top of the podium. Sami in position 2 and DK in position 3. And the rest of the grid is Mick Cliff, T-Rex, Marky Mark, Wirra, Gallen, Demon, Bad Nate, Simo Simsel, Dirty Monkey, Skitty, DG and Balaki. And we did have Lakai have to drop out. So we'll be inviting in our drivers. I do just have to remember to take screenshots of the results so that I can results for our drivers. We'll have Philly, Sami and DK in here in a moment. So for the PlayStation 2 load in. Might bring up the news once the game is loaded. See them join in just a moment. Sami in here, and DK's just joined in.
JT,
congratulations, Sami.
Thanks, mate.
Had a few close calls there.
Yeah,
spin out. At least you had that nice gap between you and P3.
Yeah, I was pushing a little bit to try and catch Philly after the first one, and yeah, ended up spinning out again. So got to take it easy from then on in.
Yeah, I had to slow down in the last couple of laps. I was wearing out real quick.
How did you just go with tyres? Did you just opt for the one set of hard tyres?
No, I ran softs, mate. I've done a change of softs.
Yeah, I changed tyres as well. I think a few of the other boys went all the way through. So
yeah, I didn't change tyres at all.
You didn't? I was playing it safe. I mean,
yeah,
after that first race,
did the tyre change at around lap 13, and I thought, yep. I know I was doing the last 12 laps, so...
Yeah, I was running hard on the left-hand side, so...
Yeah.
Oh yes, you're on the mix. Yeah, but definitely paid off, and he's escaped all that carnage from lap 1 and lap 3.
I just hit my brakes, and I was like, these guys are going for it, I'm going to sit back, and then I'm going to swoop them.
Yeah, I'd love to say they
gave me a little bit.
Yeah, there was some big hits, and even over the crest coming down into the second chicane, we had Demon who had spun round and got hit with a car coming flat out the other way. I think it was Balaki coming over the crest and straight into him, and he got launched quite high, so there's a fair few good incidents going on.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see, that's for sure. Mark did pretty well there for the first few laps too, so, which was good.
Yeah, he held up there with Hughes for a while, and then he started to sort of lose out in those last few laps, and he ran wide on turn 1.
Yeah, you and Mark took off there for a little while, Sami, and then I seen Mark on the corner, and I was like, well, there's Mark.
Yeah.
Keep going here, I might catch Sami, I might not.
You did well, mate. Congratulations on the win, on your first win too.
I'm stoked.
Yeah, congratulations, mate.
Way to redeem myself from last week. Full in time, second penalties.
Yeah, that's for sure. And need none in this race, so well done. Yeah. It's going to be exciting to see what you can do heading into the Le Mans Bugatti circuit next week.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's back all the way. Shout out to my teammates too for all their help. Sami, DK.
Congrats,
boys.
Yeah, congratulations,
Will wasn't
guys.
up there tonight, so
yeah, I
just a bit unfortunate, but
hit behind me the same time as the carnage went on in front of me. So.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, just a shout out to the sponsors, Pagnian and Next Level Racing too.
Yeah.
Thanks for them.
Yeah, thanks for another good night, JT.
Yeah, thanks
for
JT.
Great drive, guys.
Beer now.
Yeah, enjoy.
Yeah, it's well deserved, Philly. It's well deserved, mate.
Yeah,
thanks,
well
done, Philly.
DK. Thanks, Sami.
Right.
Cheers.
All right, fellas. Thanks again,
Cheers.
JT. And I'll catch you next week.
There we have.
Thanks, JT.
No worries, Sami. Now we have Sami, DK, and Philly. Philly taking a fantastic victory in the main race. And next week we do have round 3. We head to Le Mans Bugatti circuit, so even more tight, intense racing. It's going to be some great driving to see with what our drivers have been putting on so far just for the first 2 rounds. And then they are definitely keen to try and get their hands on the Next Level Racing wheel stand light that is being provided courtesy of our league sponsors, Pagnian Advanced Simulation and Next Level Racing. So you can check out all the line of products from Pagnian, and there's plenty of Next Level Racing stuff to purchase from them. That's pagnianimports.com.au. So thank you for joining in. Don't forget to hit that follow button so you can be notified when we go live next time around. We will be live on Monday night 7:30 for the Formula V's. So heaps of racing action to be seen. Thanks for tuning in, and see you trackside next week.